My name is Magdalene Kamawotieno. I am your MC for tonight. According to you, would you say SOS, Stories of Significance, is the goal or is a process? David Henry Thoreau, he's an American essayist, a poet, and a philosopher. He said the point of a goal is who you become in the process, which is surprising that it is not actually the goal that is so important. It's not the super duper important thing in this case. It's always the process that is so important. And that's why I see Stories of Significance. Why I would recommend that you come here over and over again is not so that you come and listen to the one guest, because if you do come for just one guest, then he becomes the goal. But when you come over and over again, you come and get the experience of different people, and therefore you gain the muscle because it's a process. You come in and gain the experience, you come in and gain the skills because it's the process.
My name, as I've been introduced, is Tony Olaka, but the one that comes to your phone when you send me M-Pesa will be Anthony, Olaka, Ocham, Obama, Omera Focus. There's only one way to find out. There's only one way to find out. Well, those are my names because part of that name comes from Obama, the great guy, former president. Where I come from, if I stand in the middle of our homestead and take 5 stones and throw them in 5 different directions, one of them will land on Obama's pit latrine somewhere. Yeah, so that's where I come from. I come from a very well-to-do family, all right, where money was not a problem because it was not there. Yeah. So we had other problems, but money was not one of them, all right? So I was born and raised in Kisumu City, the great land of Kisumu, where I think has really bright minds, great minds, all right? And my journey has been that of up and down, just like all of us. But one interesting thing is that I've always been focused and I've always known where I want to go, even if I did not have the details of where I want to go, but I've always known where I want to go. I've always known I want to go somewhere. I want to reach somewhere. And to me, that is very significant. And that's what I want to be said of me, just like Martin Luther King Jr. said that if one is called to be a sweeper, just like Michelangelo painted, and just like Beethoven composed music, let him sweep so well that the host of heavens will look down and say, there lived a sweeper who did his work well. And I want to be that person who not only just passes the stage of life, but that person who comes to the stage of life and makes significance. I remember one point when my dad had sold the school that he was in partnership with somebody and took all his money to go to Tanzania to go and begin some kind of business. And they were conned all their money. And so he decided that he's going to stay there for some time so that he can do whatever kind of work before he comes back. At that time, things became very, very hard. And so we were relying on relatives and friends to even pay our school fees. I personally did not know that I would even do Form 4 because I had to redo Form 4 because I could not pay the examination fee, the registration fee, all right? So when that time reached, I said, no, there's no way I'm going to repeat Form 4. No. I go back to the same school and I sit in the same class with kids who were in Form 3. No, not me, not me. I think my ego was so big and it somehow refused to enter the door of the class. And I said, no, I'm not going. So I ran away and came to Nairobi and started staying in Nairobi with my uncle, who was and still is an engineer. And I was doing some little, jobs here and there, and he knew the situation, but he was really determined to take me back to school. So they talked, and my parents talked, and they took me back to school. And sometimes that has helped me when I'm growing up, that even when I'm doing some business out here, a point comes when I have to take my ego and put aside and just do business. And I think this is a good lesson to all men who are here, that sometimes our egos prevents us from doing much in life, because it could be the only thing that we are protecting. That I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be seen as, that person who cannot make it in life or do something. That usually is a battle of egos, and it can really take a toll in the life of a man specifically. And when I was studying the rate of suicide in Kenya, which now has skyrocketed, that was one of the reasons why a lot of men commit suicide. And right now they say that 75% of men, 75% of those who commit suicide are men, all right? 25% are women. And some of the reasons are, of course, stress related, and the ego part playing the very big, because you can't believe that a man himself, he can't believe that I have a family, I used to do well, I used to, live in a, mansion and all that and everything, and now I cannot provide for my family. And so they just decide to kill themselves, all right? And many other reasons. So, go back to school. I went back to school and did my part, did well. Then, actually, the head of my school, the headmaster, he had already completely written me off, but he was shocked when I passed. So then I came back to Nairobi. When I came back to Nairobi, of course, the normal Nairobi life, the hustling, all right? Trying to look for anything to do during that period, all right? Before you decide on, going to the university or not. Because to me, I had already made up my mind, I am done with this thing called education and everything. I just want to do, because I had tried my hands on some jobs and I really got money. I got a lot of money, okay? I was so dedicated because I'm someone who, when I put my head on doing something, it will be very hard to remove me from there. I will do it and I will do it. I'll give it my all. So I got into Nairobi, and then when the time for going to college came, of course I battled with it for some time, but then I had to go because I was thinking, okay, I do not want to embarrass my family. I do not want to embarrass my parents. My dad was a head teacher, and so let me do this for him. Okay, so let's just do this. So I did that, and during that time a lot of things happened. My eyes really opened, because at that time I remember I got an attachment in a place that really opened my eyes. Initially, I had wanted to do something. I didn't know what this thing was. I had wanted to do something. And I will tell you the importance of coming to these forums and any other forums, because this is an eye-opener, all right? The moment you connect to what it is that you want to do, then you will realize that you do not only become alive, but you realize that this is the exact path that I have been looking for from the time I was born. And some people go through life without finding it. Some of us go through the stage of life playing somebody else's role, if you know what I mean. So something happened to me when I first stepped into this hotel, wonderful hotel that is in Nairobi, all right? Some of you have heard of my story of how I got into this hotel, all right? For those who've not heard, This guy is looking for a job, going around everywhere with an envelope, walking, and I'm sweating and everything. But there's something in me that my mother told me, my son, even if you are broke, try and look very good. So much so that you confuse people, that they be the ones to ask you for money. Right? So with the 2-3 shirts that I had and 2 trousers and 1 pair of shoes, I used to dress very well, iron it, make sure that that line is very straight, you tuck in well and everything, right? And just walk and go looking for jobs, trying to look for jobs here and there. And during afternoon at around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, when I want to go back home, that was the time when I felt like, I need to freshen up. Maybe I need to look for an executive chamber of release. If you know what I'm talking about. Yes. He's still thinking. Still doesn't know what we're talking about. I had 3 specific places. Intercontinental Hotel.
New Stanley?
It is New Stanley.
Yes.
Or it is Hilton. Hilton. Yes. Just somewhere around town. So I would walk past the guards, and I did it so many times that the guards thought, oh, this guy is always coming to attend some meeting inside here, right? So
how long were you staying?
now that is the question. I would go into the executive chambers, open the door, go and close the door, and sit in there for an hour plus. Now, why would I sit in there for an hour plus? My friend, I'm sure in that scenario, you would sit in there for 3 hours. But imagine this. You're just from the hot sun, right? And you're hungry and you're tired, all right? You get into the executive chambers and there is AC. On top of AC, there is the automatic air freshener. On top of the automatic air freshener, there's some music coming from God knows where. And you're trying to find out, where is this music coming from? It sounds very nice. It is so soothing, and I would just sit there, and sometimes I would doze. And sometimes I would think about myself and my life. And that was a very good place for meditation for me. Quiet. Outside, there is too much noise, too much traffic, the heat and everything. Inside, very calm, quiet, without paying a single cent. That time in my pocket, I have 20 shillings as transport to go back home. All right? There were times when I would go into the executive chambers and I would question myself. I would ask myself, Tony, Olaka, son of a cham, why can't you just go to the restaurant and just sit or do something? And one part will tell me, no, that is meant for these big people. You didn't see Kalonzo Musyoka seated in that. You didn't see Saitoti seated somewhere there. You can't see the diplomats seated in. No. You can't go and embarrass yourself there. And it kept hitting my mind until I was like, what is the worst that can happen? What is the worst that can? And that I have grown with that mentality up to now. That has opened up doors for me in places that you'd rather feel afraid and scared to go. I would just go and, just get in. What is the worst that would? And so I have learned to live with rejection. You know that thing where you're afraid, I'll be chased away. For those of you who are doing businesses, the kind of fear that you have when you're making cold calls. Picking up a phone and calling someone that you don't know all right? And you want to talk to them and you don't even know how to start. Usually the fear is the fear of rejection. Oh, what are they going? Well, how am I going to start? Ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen? The worst is they will hang up on you. So, will you die? You will not die. You will not break a bone. All right? So, I graduated from the executive chambers of... You're learning. Good. You change the name now, okay? Yeah. From toilet and latrine and washroom and chore and everything. Yes. Executive chambers of release. So I went to the restaurant. I have 20 shillings in my pocket. And I sit. And then the waiters come to me. Very nicely dressed. Courteous. Organized. Well trained. And actually, they come for you. You don't go for them. Not like the ones that we have here, where they stand in a corner, then they look at you, come and sit, and then they come. Utakula? No, these ones come for you at the door, and they actually greet you, and they walk with you. How are you, sir? How was your day? Are you doing okay? Yeah, it's too hot, all right? Yes. So please have a seat. And they give you a seat and they say, wow, welcome. So can I get you the menu while I'm at it? Will you have a drink? What drink are you going to have? Yeah, we have juices, fresh juices. We have sodas. We have wines. We have, all right, so what are you going to have? And at first I was like, Well, let me see. So I had to be creative, cook up something very quickly. I am waiting for someone, and let me wait for them. Once they come, we will order together. All right? Yeah, so for now, get me the Daily Nation. Daily Nation. Daily Nation.
And it's not in the menu.
It's not in the menu. So he goes and brings the Daily Nation. Says, feel at home, feel welcome, all right? So the Daily Nation is there, the drinks menu is there, the food menu is there, the dessert menu is there. My table looks like I'm doing a research of some sort. So I'm just reading the newspaper and
Wondering what you're going to do.
wondering what I'm going to do. One mind is focused on that waiter who keeps looking at me. Whether I'm about to lift my hand like, get me, no, I'm not doing such things. So my go back, whether, I was not reading, by the way, just flipping through that thing. Just flipping, all the way. And I could flip and go to the back and then come back again and flip again and flip again and lift my head occasionally just to look at the people who are there and ask myself, what do they have that is different from what I have? Who do they think they are? Kwani, who made them? And they would come, and on my side, I would just hear people ordering some crazy things and all that. And I was like, one day, all right? Little did I know that day was my day one of one day, right? So I decided that, you know what, I did that a couple of times. So I rotated from Hilton, went and did that, copy-pasted at Intercontinental, copy-pasted at New Stanley, right? Then waited for next week again, came like that, all right? But then I tried and, said, I'm going to get a drink. So I came with 100 shillings. 100 shillings got me just one bottle of Coca-Cola. That Coca-Cola was tasting sweeter than any other Coca-Cola that I have tasted in the entire world. That Coca-Cola lasted for 3 hours, close to 4, because I was just licking the bottle. But then I asked myself, why am I going to look for jobs outside there and I've not tried here? So I just decided, let me walk up to the HR. I asked one of the waiters, there's a HR? Yes. Where's the HR's office? Okay. So I just went. Then said, I'm looking for something, Whether it is, you can call it a job. If there is no job, you can call it attachment. If there is no attachment, you can call it, a training of some sort. Anything that, can keep us busy. Because I knew the moment I get in, I will be certain of one thing. I will be eating. I will have food. So that will be taken care of. All right? Nipambane na transport, lakini food iko. All right? So then I was taken up. The place where I could only afford the executive chambers of release. Now I have an operation everywhere. That experience opened my eyes. I was not only exposed to the world of waiting tables, but I went to housekeeping, cleaning the toilets, the loos and all that, cleaning the rooms and making sure that they're tucked in very well, and I was taught how to do that, all right? Coming to the restaurant, folding the napkins very well in all manner of styles, I was taught how to do that. Going to the bar and even being taught all manner of cocktails and drinks and all that. Now, one thing that happened to me incidentally was that during those times when I was serving, inside one of those conference halls, we used to prepare conference halls, and just like the way they have prepared this place. And people used to come to, speakers used to come and give talks. Some of them would give trainings. Some of them would conduct seminars. And they used to be both international and local speakers. And one time, this local speaker walks in, and I studied him. I said, I've seen this man here before. He's been coming here a couple of times. I kind of, I'm interested in what he's doing. And he used to have some sort of swag, swag. He used to pull, those very nice suitcases, small ones, the ones that, pilots normally have when they're going to the plane. Yes. And he used to come and used to be very well dressed in a suit and all that. And I said, this guy, there's some connection. So I decided I'm going to peep and see what he's doing in that room, right? Because I could just hear what he's talking about, but outside. So that day, I asked to be assigned a duty in that conference room so that I be the one to prepare it. I follow this guy to the conference hall, I do the arrangement and everything and all that, and then he comes and, people are in the hall and he's training and I'm there, pretending to be arranging glasses. Kumbe I am listening, Yeah, you okay? You okay? Yes. Kumbe I'm listening. Then I go and stand somewhere in a corner and I hear him. That was the first time I heard a motivational talk. I did not know what that was, all right? I have been hearing some of those things on radio and on TV, but I was like, this thing sounds nice. Whatever it is, it sounds nice, all right? I've been hearing things to do with training and personal development. It sounds nice and it sounds very interesting. And I picked up that interest and followed up on it. And I went and talked to him, and he started giving me some tips here and there, some hints, all right? And I followed up. And that is why I think it is important that whatever it is that you are doing, who else is doing that thing that has done it well? And I'm sure there's a lot that we can learn from those people, all right? The problem that we have most of the time is that we have been taught a narrative of kila mtu apambane na hali yake. Not everyone is meant for employment, just like not everyone is meant for entrepreneurship. No, it's not for everybody. In fact, it has come to a point where I am seriously discouraging people from getting into entrepreneurship because it is one of the 1,000 ways to die in Kenya. Really, it is. It's not easy. Seriously. Think about it. You go and register a business, all right? You want to start a business. Those entrepreneurs that are here, what are they going to ask? Tax compliance, PIN certificate, business permit, AGPO, accounts, what are they? 3 years audited account.
Supply 3 years before pay. 3 months before pay.
There we go. A proof of work done before by providing LPOs or other payments. All right, we are in number 7. Number 8.
You have to show your capacity in terms of money.
Exactly. And you're just opening an account. Actually, the bank doesn't want to know and they don't care. They're not going to give you any loan. All right? Yes. Some of us in our field, you have to show proof that you have an office that they have to visit and look physically, and that you have staff that are on a payroll and that you're paying for statutory, like payee, NHIF, and everything. Jesus Christ. Which other way would you like to die apart from that?
No capital.
No capital. So have a plan. Make sure that you know when you're going to jump. And this is what I always like telling those who are in employment. Do your job and do it well, but also mind your business. Mind your business. Could be a time now to start something small on the side. Whatever it is, start it on the side. Your side hustle. Because one time it will become your main hustle. Your side hustle will become your main hustle. So do your job and do it well, but mind your own business.